Hey Gooby, you're now listening to Buddy Time. On today's episode, we'll be tackling topics relating to dreams, aspirations, and determination as a young entrepreneur with our guest speaker, Nakarin Wisetphanichkij. Ready to turbocharge your day with us? Let's begin our voyage! Hello Gooby, hello everyone.
Morning!
Yeah, you hear that? So that's our guest today in this episode, who is the pioneer of Gooby. By the way, we're calling everyone Gooby right now. So how we came up with Gooby was also a funny mistake. And the person who inspired us with this special word is with us today, who will be sharing with us of his wisdom and the way he navigates his life. Welcome, Shan.
So good morning, Gooby minions. My name is Shan, currently studying at Chulalongkorn University, majoring in business management. That's a bit related. So half of my life I have been in a boarding school that led me into playing rugby, and then I turned professional after and ended up playing for 12 years now. From the hobby side of things, I used to run my own clothing shop called Sweats Habits and cafe called Annie Cafe. I'm currently working on opening a private bar called the Albrecht Bar to navigate through my graduate time.
Shan is a person with many businesses. He does so many things at a time. And that's why we decided to also feature him on our podcast, because very much so when we got connected, he came to apply to buddy up as an intern. And, while working with Shan, I really got inspired by Shan's work ethics and the way that he is and all these things that he can juggle in his life. He not only is a full-time student, at the same time, he is also a professional athlete that plays rugby. And I was so fascinated by the world of rugby during the time that he was interning with us. It was a world that I myself had never understood. And Shan, of course, told us all about his journeys of being a rugby player. But at the same time, also, as you can hear, juggle all these clothing store and this cafe. And now he's on his journey creating a bar of his own. So Shan really has a lot of aspirations in his life. And that really inspires me. Even though, I was his mentor during the time of his internship. Shan, do you want to tell the listeners a little bit more about your journeys of, how you got into rugby and how you managed to balance your life? Being a professional athlete, in my mind and in my eyes, it's not an easy, simple thing that you can just, play professionally for the national team and then, go to school. Some people can't even juggle their own school schedules. How was it that you got into rugby, and how is it now for you in terms of how you manage your time management?
So surprisingly, I knew rugby because I was in the boarding school that I mentioned. I've been staying there for 10 years and a bit. I got into the rugby because it was the main sport of the school. So everybody's play it and they have a good community. So a lot of my good friends came from rugby and still are today. So yeah, that's how I got into rugby. First, I didn't know that I'm gonna like rugby this much because I didn't like the way the sports was played. It was a lot of injuries and it was a contact sport. So I had quite a lot of injured. But still, though, the community led me to still playing it. That's why how I ended up turning professional is because I feel like it could be a growth for me. The community is so good and it keeping me busy and keeping me in a good shape of all time because, professional sport player is a full-time job. You can balance it with the school because the time you practice, you kind of rest from schools, and the time you doing school is the rest from rugby. If that's how you see it.
So how I'm hearing it is that you started rugby in your school back in
grade 7.
Grade 7 in, it's not in Thailand, right?
It was in Thailand. It's around 2011.
When we think about sports in Thailand in general, a lot of the sports that come to my mind, and we also actually featured this in, I think, episode 4, we talked about sports in Thailand and how I think handball was the thing that he was looking for, and there was a lack of handball in Thailand. And in my mind, badminton and soccer comes to mind when we think about sports in Thailand. What's the industry like here in terms of for rugby?
Surprisingly, industry grew quite exponentially. How I would say that, because there are a lot more players now, 5 or 6 year prior. So like 3 or 4 years after COVID, there's like loads of players. Because back then, 10 years ago, there were really like 3 or 4 schools that doing rugby and we competing each other every year. But still, they keep doing it because the community supported for the players from these schools to compete with each other. And then the community grew. If you know a bit of rugby, we do have 2 mains competition, which is 15 players in the field from each side, and then 7S, which is 7 from each side. And the 7th is easier to play and much more fun because it's shorter, and that sport become more popular in Thailand.
So you started rugby in school, but how did that journey lead you to join the national team? Did they cast you into the team, or did they scout you out and then they were like, that's the man we want?
Mainly they would scout you out, but they have the big open test field, not test, but like you go to play and then they will cast. Yeah, it's a casting role. Let's say like you casting for a movie. They will scout you first and then they will pick each of you, and then you go to play and compete, and then they will cast you in. So yeah, like I was said, back then, 10 years ago, there were not many players. And then to be really good at rugby or any sport, you need good experience. So I was playing it for about 6 or 7 years before then. And then I got scouted into compete in the national team. But that was like young adults, under 18. So that's how I started in the national team. Yeah, they scouted me for like 50 or 60 players. And then they only need 30 players in order to like play for the national team. And that's how I got into the national team, though.
What is the possibility of making this role sort of like a full-time job? Is this a possibility in Thailand? Do they pay you enough?
They don't pay me enough for the national team, but there is a potential growth. For like in the past, we cannot compete with any of the Southeast Asia division or any Asian division. So let's say we lost against Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, of course, is a really big team, and Korean and Hong Kong as well. So we don't have any award or any pick-up point to, let's say, tell the government that, oh, we are really doing a big thing, can you support us? But last year we just won the Asian Cup 4th trophy.
Were you part of that?
No, I didn't. I was injured at the time. Yeah, and then we do have kind of a pickup point that, oh, we do have the award, we do have the thing, so can you support us? So it become like a bigger thing now. The squad used to be like 30 people. Now it came like 60 or 70 people that want to compete in the national team. There are a lot more players doing it. So it's quite more competitive sport now. And I think in a short time in the future, there will become like a professional thing that people can do for their job, but not now. Currently, they are not paying enough.
Shan's story about how, your team or in general, sports teams such as rugby in Thailand doesn't get the kind of support until you receive certain, award or popularity. And that's when maybe the government started to see the potential in investing and supporting this kind of sports, I would say, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to hear this, but at the same time, it makes me think that this is life. I mean, like, while we're trying to work on our dreams, our passion, not all the time we get the support right away, as long as we keep on working on it until one day we're able to at least prove to those who didn't see our value in the beginning that now it's your time to really invest in this, because I've showed you that this is a really potential thing to invest in. So what I'm trying to say is, don't give up on the things that we believe is good for us and good for the community. Besides that, I'm also wondering, what's the life of a professional sports
player?
Yeah, because I'm assuming that you will have a full day schedule doing a lot of practice, exercising. So if you have a full day of training with the team, how do you find your time to focus and balance on your academic?
Like I said, a professional sports player, I believe in any kind, even though chess or e-sport considered as a professional sports player. Yeah, I would say it's a full-time job, which means is that you need to take care of your body at whole time. You cannot party every night and then go do the training.
You don't party every night?
I do, but it's not good for your health. It's not good for the in-season though. You need like the dedication for during the season time, which we were being played. Well, how do I balance is that, because I'm a full-time student as well, if you really take a good care of yourself in class, you really understand, you really take time during the class, you will have time, let's say a break after the class to do all the sports stuff. Because you need to maintain your health by getting enough sleep, you have to train quite a lot. It could be up to like 6 or 7 days a week, depend on the program, and you will have to take a good amount of food, which could relate to like the nutritionist or the team might help you support your that part, but mainly it's yourself, it's the dedication that you're willing to give. So let's say if you want to get a good health, if you want to be healthy, you can exercise for like 2 or 3 days a week, or even 5 days of like jogging half an hour. But for professional team sport, you need training. Beside taking care of your health, you need to train with your team, so that takes quite a lot of time. Let's say during the season, I need to train 6 days a week, which every day I need to take around 2 to 3 hours of training and plus an hour of preparation. So it takes like 4 hours a day, every day for my training session. But that part I told you, like it kind of feel like a rest from the study itself. You rest from study by doing the sport that you like, you being with friends that you're happy with, you get your good health. And then after that, after like 4 hours of training, let's say 8 in the evening, you take your rest and then you prepare for your study tomorrow. That's how I think most of the students, most of the full-time students and professional team sport player does that during the same time.
Don't you get exhausted right after your training? Because I consider myself quite active back then in terms of joining all the school's sports club. I understand that when I was still pretty young, like as in my teenage age, I get a lot of energy. So those energy, I mean, I would love to just, put energies in everywhere to the sport, and then I wouldn't feel really tired even after the sport. I will still have remaining energies to do even other things, sometimes maybe partying. But then as we grow older, and you also mentioned about taking care of our health and body, you don't feel exhausted after full day, like 6 days of training, and then after you got home, maybe you had a break, and then you still have to prepare for university projects and works. And I understand the part where you share that you feel like joining the rugby team feels like a leisure time for you apart from the academic works, but it is still a very, high intensity, physical, active sports. Does your body ever tell you like, oh, I just need a rest. I cannot go on to do my projects for tonight? And does that occur quite a lot?
Oh yeah, it tells me all the time. Like, stop it. Oh no, let's looking at it this way. So you have the in-season, which is like around 2 or 3 months, that you're really hard into the season. You need to compete every week, and that your body is really tiring because you have a lot of impact. But look at it this way then. The whole year is like you planning ahead. Whole year that you will have the season around this time. So if you want to do something, or if you want to start your own business, really get into the study, it would be kind of around this month. So you kind of plan ahead of what are you getting to into this month. And it would lead to the word priority. If that week is really into the rugby, like let's say we have a really important tournament coming up this week, I would prioritize my body and my health first, but still didn't leave the school behind though, because I will prepare all the work that needs to be done in that week, the week before. Or I would tell the professor that, oh, I'm really into this week. Can I do it the late week or the week after that? But still though, keeping up with all the work, sometimes it's like the project or the teamwork, and that it's really important that you collaborate with your partner, you talk with your teams that, oh, you have something coming up, and then is there anything I can do prior to that date, and I will complete it before the day become. And that's like happened with me quite a lot of time because I've been doing it for 6 or 7 years, that competing in the national team and doing the tournament stuff. Yeah, it's quite important based on the parity stuff. Yeah.
What I'm hearing from what you say is that you prioritize what is important for you and how you see yourself moving positively into the future is your ability to be able to plan and manage your time very well. So time management and, just life scheduling is one of the key main things that you do in your life to be able to balance your love for rugby playing as an athlete, but also the academics that you need to take in order to graduate and have a degree. With that said, though, it really makes me curious, how did you learn to become a person who does this work-life balance? Because it doesn't really come natural. And from hearing what Cin said earlier, I agree with her. I agree with her because I don't go to the gym 5 days a week. And already I am exhausted from work. You make it sound so effortless. You're like, oh, you just easily, when you're in the daytime, you study. In the nighttime, you go to the gym. It's so easy when you say it. I'm like, once you said that, I believe it too. I'm like, yo, that's so easy. I'm going to do it after this recording. I'm going to go to the gym. You make it sound so effortless and easy, but how did you get to this point? Have you ever reflected upon this? How did you learn to become a person who is able to manage your time so effectively?
I forgot to mention this earlier about the program that we're training 5 or 6 days a week. They will have the green, red, and yellow, which the green mean is the easy, relaxing day, recovery day. The yellow is a more intimidated one, and the red one is more, not intimidated, but it's more intense one. So during a month program, they will have these kind of colors around, which when you go training, this day is recovery, this day is not that harsh. You can prepare your body to be a more relaxing and recovery day. And the red one is more intense. So that's how you know and how you prepare your day for that. It's not an easy job when you're telling someone to, let's go to the gym 5 days a week. But it's combined with the fun that you want to do it and combined with the people you want to do it with. And that more casual than, let's say, if for a non-athlete person, let's say if they do the full-time school, and then after that, I need to take a break, I need to go watch movie, I need to go do something that I'm really enjoy with, let's go hang out with friends. I think that particular thing applies with the same thing of the professional or the professional athlete. We do have our time of study, and when we want to take a rest, we go do the training. Which training is that we do it with the people we want to do it with, which is the community that we love and the things we like. It feels like watching a movie for me, but it's fun in particular.
I totally vibe with what you just say, because what you say really is something that I also personally go by, which is, in life, I feel like there's always certainly things that you feel like it's a chore, something that you must do. Like you need to study to get a degree. You need to work in order to get paid and to live. And how do we get by through these days to make each moment much more worthwhile for me is attaching these sort of love or these sort of positive aspects to it, even though it's something that we have to do. So your example of going to the movies and that changing our mindset, sometimes when I have to come to work on days that I'm super tired and I just really want to stay home or, just relax a little bit because the day before that was so tiring, I tell myself, hey, at least I'm going to go there to meet all my colleagues. I'm going to be there to meet Cin, and have a day, change the mindset to be it's going to be a day with my friend. And that really helps me. And that's what you said that reminds me of that particular point, which also brings me to the point where if I were, let's say that I'm someone who wants to start out in Thailand and want to go into the scene of rugby, how would you recommend them to get into the scene? Because you started in school, which I think it's easier if it's provided in school. But for someone who is looking to join a rugby team or try out in a rugby industry, in the rugby field, how would you recommend them in finding their way to these clubs?
So there is a lot of people asking me when I was running the rugby team back in university, if you're really interested in that sport in particular. So let's say if I want to go play basketball, if I want to go play soccer, you go find a community that you're really interested with. Let's say if I'm live in Sathorn, or if I live in near Rangsit, something like that, and you find the place where they play it, you go up and you can go tell them, oh, I want to join this team, or I want to play with you guys. What can I do? I don't think anyone would reject you straight away. Even they're a national team, they would still accept you to go play with them to pursue your passion. And I think that's a really big thing, because there is a lot of expat that comes training with the Chulalongkorn University team. At that time, it's like 7 or 8 people. They just saw us playing then, and then they came and then asked, like, oh, if I want to do it with you, can I go training with you? And I was like, oh, you can surely play with us, but you cannot compete because your nationality is not Thai. It's pretty hard for the restrictions, stuff like that. But still, they were willing to do it. They were willing to play for it. And then after that, after university team, they asked me, oh, how can I compete in that sport? And I would tell them, oh, you can go to the club. This club, I will recommend you at it. I will give you the contact. And that's like the pathway of people joining the sport and going to do what they like. So in degree, like if you just want to compete, if you want to play, or if you want to go with that career, that path, I think there is a lot of potential that you find this place, you find the community, and you go after that, and they will lead you to the way that you like.
I'm wondering if there's any female rugby club in the Thai.
Oh yeah, you might not know this, but female rugby player play against the World Division Cup right now. So they're getting more award than the national men's player, but still though, they're a really good team, but the marketing doesn't show them that much. So yeah, there's a lot of female player.
Shame for the marketing and also shame to the men. What the men team doing? Shan, what are you doing?
Sorry. I would say compete with the popularity, just like volleyball. They used to get paid really low amount of money per month, and then after they compete in the Olympics and they got a really good performance, after that year the salary got up quite a lot, like 4 or 5 times that much, and they got bonus paid. Because I think if the sport become popular, if the marketing is good, if the marketing is right on that side, the team would get paid to do that. They will have sponsorship coming up, because really good product doesn't sell itself. So you need a good marketing and good PR to do that stuff in order to pursue your career and pursue your dream.
Speaking of the pay and also the balance between the athlete life that you have and also the academic life that you have, another thing that we cannot look past at all is your journey toward entrepreneurship and the things that you said that you've pursued, such as, having your own brand, and then you also opened a cafe before or something like this, and you're on the journey to having your own bar. All these things, this is insane. You just said that you take mornings to study and nights to train. Where's the time to work? This is so many things going on, and taking all of these considerations and also about the pay. Is that the reason why you decided to also pursue all these other jobs that you want to start these sort of businesses? Is it because the industry in rugby itself is not paying you enough?
The school end one day, so I'll have loads of time left. Yeah, so that's what I do in my free time. I want to start my own brand. I want to earn more income is the one thing though, but it's easier to get a job, get a full-time job or a part-time job to get money. But from what I said earlier about the hobby side of things, that open my own business, I want to own the business, is kind of how I pursue my passion then. Because I particularly believe that I have the knowledge and I have the energy to pursue my dreams. So that's why I trying to run these sort of business things.
Myself, speaking from an entrepreneur perspective and, founder of Buddy Up, the motivation that drives me to really took action into investing my time and effort into making this happen. It's something really meaningful to myself. At the same time, I believe that meaningful thing is also going to make a change to the society, the community, and will eventually become meaningful to the people who are able to use the service. So what exactly is your motivation for you to start your entrepreneurship?
Talking about my goal now of like what is the end goal of me doing the business, right? The motivation for me is that I'm bored quite easily. Because if I'm getting a job, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't use all my potential from that job. Because I used to work with my father and my mother in the company, and I used to intern quite a lot of places, but not many places use all my potential, and I think you can find the perfect job for you. The end goal is that I don't want to work 9 to 5. There is a work from home company, but I'm still not a big fan. Could be my one thing at a time, but my end goal of business is that I want to connect people without social media more. So I love the way of community Mo has been building, but still people use that place to work from home quite a lot, and I still hate it. My end goal of doing like the cafe shop, opening a bar while I'm an intern at the Migudi, because it's the event production. I want to do the community Mo that serve people to connect without the social media, without the phone. People just come out, hang out, and talking way more than nowadays. That's like my motivation.
Can you share more about why you're particularly interested into creating the community where you want people to get connected offline?
I think social media, influencers, stuff like that, fake news are becoming a major thing, and it's growing exponentially. Just related to last year, ChatGPT, it's made people life easier, but at the same time, less intelligence, because we don't need to do our research ourselves anymore. Just like the social media, we connect it too easily. People can say comment anything they want into the comment section, and no one's gonna tell them it is right or wrong. It's not about that part mainly, but I want people to connect without their phones. I think there are much more energy that for example, if you have an online meeting compared to on-site meeting, the energy is so much different, the body language and everything. I want to create the place or community that people can have this sort of energy, more than just online chatting, more than text, more than voice over. I want a real world connection.
So since you're in your stage of preparing for your new business, where you will create a community and connect people genuinely, right? So what are the steps you usually take to do a startup?
From the business side, though, we're talking about our objective first. So what do we want to create? What do we want to do for the community? Or what our bar value would give to the people? And then we starting from that. We make it lean first. So we don't go with the bold, like, oh, let's rent out Sukhumvit area and then bam, put the money into it. No, we don't do it like that. We just trying to create it lean. Very lean, that what people want out of a bar. They want to connect, they want to know cocktail, they want to drink. So our value proposition is that we are a simple bar. We want people not to pretend like, oh, I know what is martini is, I know what is the Negroni is. So I want it to be simple, really simple, that people can pay not that amount of money, but can still taste like, oh yeah, so we will teach you everything. You don't need to pretend to know. You just come in as like, what the hell is this? And then we will teach you from step 1 to step 10 expert, and then it's free. It's free service. But what we get is that, oh, you can connect with the bartender, you can connect with the guy or the girls that's sitting next to you. And we want to create that sort of like simpleness that, it's the good vibes in bar. You come and you don't know, and that's all right.
When we talk about startup, especially in the new generation, I'm considering from my generation to your generation, more young people nowadays wants to be their own boss. That's why there's also an increase in, the freelancer, and also more startup are coming up. Speaking of the startup realm in Thailand, what's your thought about this? Because starting up a business it can be easy, but it also can be hard.
It is not easy.
Yeah,
I can
right?
confirm you that it is not easy.
One of the most frequently asked questions from people who are about to jump into this, or they are still hesitating if they want to, start their own business, is where do I get my funding? Will I be able to make profit out of this? How do I start a business? Even though, okay, I know that right now I have just a bucket of money, but how can I use this bucket of money to locate the resources accordingly so that I don't waste, my initial funds?
It is not easy. I can confirm you that about a startup in Thailand, because the main reason is that we don't have the potential buyers. We don't have the enough VCs or enough angel investor to invest in their startup. So let's talk to it this way. For the listener that don't understand particularly, the startup is the company that you start up new. It's not particularly need to be tech industry. It doesn't need to be a platform. It can be a coffee shop. It could be any shoe stores. It will be called startup. It's the same word as greenfield. We use the word startup nowadays to talk about tech company only, but it is all around like any new business. And one answer I would give to that is that a startup becoming a trend because the mindset that we don't get paid enough to do within the company. But I can confirm you that that's not true. The big company could give you more than enough than the startup. Startup can fail quite easily because of the funding, because of the experience and stuff like that. That's quite common, you might know. But the main thing is that we are young. And that's the trend.
Your journey right now makes me reflect on how I started my journey as well. And these are all of the most frequent asked question, at least to myself, that, am I using this money for no good? Because this money didn't come easy. Some people might think that, you can start a startup really easy just because you come from a well-off family. You have a family to support you fully. So that's why starting up a business is it's really easy for people who come from a, really supportive and well-off family. But there are also those who work their way up to find their funding, and then they do their startup. And, the funding that makes us want to start a business.
Okay, I get the answer to this. Let's talk about money first. What I mentioned is that we have no potential buyers, which means if we want to do a startup, I would divide it into two sections. The first section is that they want to get rich. So how would you get rich is that you make a startup, you have the idea, you try to make it work, you have the potential market share, and then you're trying to sell it to investor, and then they just take it. For example, I would say, if you know Seekster is the company that find you mates. Yeah, for all the hotels and all the department store. That startup particularly is the tech startup. Friends of mine, yeah. He's raising the capital up to 120 millions. And then he reducing it, like the cash flow reduced to like around 10 millions, and then he tried to exit. But there are no potential buyers. A lot of startup can get that, a loads of market share, but there are no potential buyers. At least Seekster can get out with True. But True just bought it and then just dumped it. Because they don't care. They just buy it. I don't want you to get this market share. We will get all the market share, and they bought it, and then they didn't do anything. But that's the good part though, because that is the one exit that you can do. But not many startup can do that. Not many startup can sell to the big company like that. Seekster find 2 or 3 years potential buyers, and they cannot find a single one until they pitched to True, and then True bought the company. But there are loads more startups that doing the same thing but cannot find the exit and ended up losing their lifetime money for, quite a lot of money that put into the industry. That's one side of thing, is the funding one. And the other part of doing the startup is passion. I think it's similar to you guys, that you really put the money, really put energy and effort into the startup because you believe that there is no company or there is no around market that create the same energy, create the same purpose to the customer as you are. That's why you guys doing it. I think that's the other part of startup that really influential. I think that's the two different criteria of the startup.
Since you're in your early stage of preparing for the new business, and now you are still in university, about to graduate, let's count. You are still a full-time student, even though you're about to graduate. You're in the preparation for your new business, which will take a lot of time for you to prepare, research, do planning. At the same time, you're still participating in the, sportsmanship, the national club. I'm already counting 3 roles, right? Do you have more to add onto this?
I'm a good son.
That's valid.
Yeah, so see, the 3 roles that I just mentioned are all relating to our work and academic study. So how about in terms of your personal life? How do you balance the time? Because right now, if I'm just to pick it on a really surface level, which is, I feel like 70% of your time is dedicated to all the passion related to career and sports, and maybe only 30% to your personal life. Just from my own, very shallow viewing into this whole thing. Is that true? Or you actually managed to find ways to take care of your personal life pretty well as well?
Percentage-wise, I don't know. Particularly, I wouldn't say it 70-30. I could say I incorporate my personal life into some of my things you just mentioned before. Just like the rugby. I do play it with my friends, so I would incorporate that with the community life that I'm enjoy. About my personal life that I'm holding back, the sleep time is still my personal life, and I do that quite often every day. So that's like about 30% of my life now that's incorporated to my sleeping. But the rest, I would say, if you plan it well, your body wouldn't tell you what to do. Your body wouldn't be like, oh, I'm tired, I need friends right now in my life, or I need a break. Sometimes they will tell you, oh, I need a break off the rugby, off the sport, off the study, something like that. But it's not often if you plan it good.
What's your thought on work-life balance? And do you think that right now you are actually in a comfortable stage of work-life balance?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's the word life-work balance more than work-life. So the life is the big part. I really think this in my mind all the time, that if you're pushing this hard, if you want to accomplish anything, though you get tired, you get sick, or one of your family gets sick, your priority would shift to your family or your body first before the work. So life comes before everything else. If you're doing that work, just like Sony mentioned, you incorporate your life, but not all of it. You incorporate your life into your passion, into what you love, and you really want to push it through. Like, I'm doing this because I'm love to do it. I'm doing this because I'm happy to do it. It benefits with my health. It benefits with my emotional. That's why I want to incorporate that into so many things. And then you would need less of your personal life. Like, the time you enjoy it is the time you admit into what you work.
I totally understand what you're trying to say, or at least in my own viewpoint of what you're trying to say is that once you make work part of your life, work is just life. You're just living and you're just enjoying the moment and doing those things. I can really totally relate to that because I was a professor, an adhan at Rangsit University in the past few months. And the timing of the class that the school actually gave us was only 3 hours. At first, I thought 3 hours is so long. I was like, such a long class, because I remember when I was a student, a 3-hour class would be so long. I'd be like, oh my God, I have a 3-hour class today. And it feels really long as a student. But then the thing that I wanted to teach and the thing that I wanted to introduce to all the students, I felt like it was so important to me and so personal to me. And I ended up realizing that 3 hours actually isn't enough. And I also do feel that from the students. If the students are listening, they can prove me wrong if they don't, agree that maybe they do think it's really long. But from my perspective, as the instructor, I felt like it's too short. And I ended up having to always sort of extend these hours. I have a day where it took me like 6 hours to, teach them. But, I'm talking about this in this perspective as this is my work, what I was doing. But because I enjoyed it so much, I treated it more like as though it is my life. Like, this is my life's work. And I enjoyed every moment of it. I actually only went to the toilet once, if you believe that, like in 6 hours.
You hold it in.
And like throughout that 6 hours, I was just like, teaching and I was enjoying it so much because I felt very present with the student and I felt like it was like a passion. I felt like it was something that I really wanted to do and really wanted to give back. And in that moment, like you said, Shan, once you make that a part of it, if you view it differently and view it more positively in a way that benefits me in some ways in my life, then it doesn't really view like work for me. I am so tired. Like people ask me, are you tired? I'm freaking tired, man. Like, I'm so tired, but I'm tired and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. But I mean, if the perspective point of view, someone might view work as the things that make money, if you agree. Like work is the only thing that you want to do or don't want to do and it generate money is back to you. But sometimes work for me is kind of like you giving out to other, even you want or don't want to or not. And if it's make you happy in a long time, if it makes you feel good, that could be work or life. It's really gray line, there is no direct cut of where is work and where is life for me. And if the main thing is the happiness, if you enjoy it, if you love to do it, and just go do it. There is no part where it's like, oh, this is work again, this is life again.
I feel like there is a very special spot that you as an entrepreneur, from my perspective, land in because I find myself as an artist relating to you who as an entrepreneur because recently I just got to meet some of Cin's friends who are in the creative entertainment industry, just like myself. And when I talked to them, I felt there was a connection where what they said that's related to this topic was they said that the pay is shit, but I'm happy. My life is great because I chose this life. And even though I'm working towards a better pay and better lifestyle, but I enjoy the work that I do. And I think that is sort of like a conversation we can have in a future episode, I think, because I feel like it is a very deep embedded thing. And I think that you are very special and lands in this realm where you're also treating life like an artist. You go ahead and do the things that you love. And yes, all these pay and all these things matter, but you go ahead first with the things that you're passionate about, the things that you want to do in your life, the things that you want to make a difference to the community and the people around you. You go in your life choosing to do these things before you think about the other factors, like what is work, what is the pay, and all these things. And I feel like that sort of medium is very special for me, seeing it from this perspective. And, there's not a lot of entrepreneurs, from my own personal opinion, that does this because the true entrepreneurs and business people that I meet in my life so far has been people who are perhaps financially embedded. They are like, what am I going to make out of this? Like I sell this particular product. I need to make millions. And does it make a difference? I don't really care. Like I want to just make money out of it first or something like that, which is not wrong as well. I'm just saying that those are the people that I've met more so, in the entrepreneurship, in the business realm. And that's why I feel like in my own perspective of you, I feel like you land in such a special realm in this very beautiful balance between passion and work. And I feel like this is also why you are, to me, a very great example for a lot of the students out there who are developing themselves and, maybe they will see you and look up to you and see you as a role model to them because even though I am older than you, I also see you as a role model in this sense.
Who knows, if I don't make enough money, I might change. Joking.
If you were to share 3 words for our listeners out there, what are the 3 words that you want to share with them in terms of navigating your own life, whether or not it's towards a business or towards a certain passion?
I could give out the first word, easy, is the word simple. I think life is pretty simple and you shouldn't be overcomplicated things. Like there is no hard-ish or hard decision to make if it's come to life. Like, it is worth it? Is it good? Is it bad? Something like that. It's just, don't overcomplicate things. Make it simple. Like, oh, what you get out of it? Do you happy? Do you want to do it? It's just these sorts of things. Emotional can particularly hurt you, but it sometimes can help you as well. So use your brain and balance it with emotional and then emotion, and then it will lead you to the fact that you're happy that you're doing it. You wouldn't look back if you make it simple. Yep, that's the first word. The second word I would say dedication then. Because after you make the first choice, you make it and then you go through that part. You don't care about the other opportunity because you already picked this one. You make it simple already. When you already picked the choice, you want to do that. The second thing is the dedication that you want to go through any problems, any things, and go towards that goal. That's the dedication that you're willing to put to. If you want to accomplish anything, if you want to make it 100% sure that your choice is right, you're already choosing this path, your dedication will push you through it. Simple, dedication, enjoy. So enjoy will be kind of the key indicators that reflects upon your choice is right or wrong. So if you're doing it and you're enjoying it, then you're coming the right path. If you choose that choice, if you dedicate for that and you're enjoying that, that's the right choice to make in life. But if you don't enjoy it, that's the key indicator, the main that, oh, you're picking the wrong one. Maybe try to pivot it or change things the way you do.
Amen.
Yay! That's the main 3 words I would do.
Thank you, Shan, for sharing all of your experience with us, with our listener. And the 3 words that you share, I definitely resonate with them as well. How I see them is just as the way you see them. I don't think I need to further elaborate more because I 100% agree with what you said. Again, today, Shan shared with us of the way he managed his life, even though he's always on a busy, full schedule, but he's able to really make his work as his life and also enjoy his life. A few key takeaways that I took from Shan today is be a good planner. But what I mean by be a good planner is try to see things in long term and not just short term. For example, if we have certain things that we want to try out and we know that it's going to take us time, so try to work around and plan around this thing and to arrange our schedule for it and be okay with the circumstances for the actions that we take, because every action there is a positive side and a negative side. And even if we choose to dedicate our time into a certain hobby or a business, know that there will be sacrifices that comes along with it. But as long as we enjoy the process and that we're happy out of the whole journey, then that's all that matters. That's my main takeaway with what Shan shared with us today.
That's a very good wrap up. Thank you very much for having me. Hope you guys enjoy listening to my voice. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time in the next episode.
Once again, thanks for spending your time with us on this episode. It's been another fun and meaningful chat that left us more inspired for our ventures. If you're still trying to figure out what your passion is or what to do, at Buddy Up, we offer an internship program that is specifically designed for you to explore your potential and grow alongside us. Curious to know more? You can check out this opportunity on our website at worldwideweb.migodi.com. Alrighty, ready to explore the world as we head on to our next episode, which we will share about life as a cabin crew. Phew, phew, phew.